Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and I recently top 4'd a vintage challenge, and I wanted to go through the deck and tell you about it. It's blue-black Lurrus. Like, if you know vintage, you know this deck. And just kind of walk you through the replays of my games. I didn't play particularly well, but I think it's important to be open about mistakes as well as really sweet plays, which there were a few, and show both sides of the coin in success and failure. So let's jump right into it. So this is the blue-black Lurrus deck that I top 4'd with. It's pretty wildly stock. I guess the only like real kind of interesting thing is in lieu of playing Psychic Frog, we're only playing the on-color Moxes, which opens us up to like a little bit more action in the main deck. And I was off blue-black Lurrus for a while, but when Psychic Frog got printed, this card is just absolutely bonkers, and it's just a win condition in and of itself. Otherwise, it's your basic tempo deck, playing some Orcish Bowmasters, playing Psychic Frog as like frankly our primary win condition. Urza Saga because we naturally play a bunch of artifacts, the kind of getcha win with Manifold Key Time Vault, and a bunch of 1-mana artifacts that we can just go grab with Urza Saga as we need them. So let's play things for cheap or free, draw a bunch of cards, hit in the face with cards that draw us cards or punish our opponent for drawing cards, make really big constructs, win the game. And we're off of the Mishra's Bauble Lurrus silliness and just like playing Lurrus because we can. They're replaying the Psychic Frog and Orcish Bowmasters and whatnot. So let's jump right into it with game 1, round 1. I'm going to try to just let it play and talk along with it. We kept this hand because we have Lore Revealed. We have Mental Misstep is just absolutely nuts, and Pondered to be able to continue to dig. They wasteland our land. We Lore Revealed in response just to grab a land, and then we're pondering, looking for some amount. Or sorry, excuse me, I forgot they exiled Chancellor of the revealed Chancellor of the Annex. So we played Manifold Key first in order to make sure that the Chancellor of the Annex gets out, because we really need this ponder to resolve to try to find more mana sources. We did find a mana force in Mox Sapphire. Putting Psychic Frog in our hand, we're able to wasteland their Cavern of Souls, play Psychic Frog, and after keeping them off the land with the Force of Negation earlier, now everything is just very, very easy. This is obviously mono white initiative. With revealing Chancellor of the Annex and attempting to play Chrome Mox and us keeping on Force of Negation. That's our strategy against this deck, is try to keep them off their mana, because once they get on their mana, the deck is very, 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 very hard to kill. In game 2, you see this hand? Hand's great. Any Ancestral Recall hand I am loving. We really got to get rid of this Vexing Bauble, though, so that we can make sure that we exile their stuff. It's too bad that Force of Negation wasn't already in our hand. Them having double Wasteland makes me fetch just basic Island. We Ancestral Recall ourselves, and now we just have an actual million cards. And we're able to see their hand as this is happening. They kept a really, really weird hand with double Wasteland and a bunch of white cards, so I don't know what's going on here, but we do draw the Force of Will, so as long as they don't hit Cavern of Souls, we're doing fine. And now we're just like working on just killing them. You know, they kept just a pretty not great hand. Here I actually, I want to pause it for a second. So here I actually made a mistake. I had the Black Lotus. If you guys saw, I had the Black Lotus, and I accidentally just popped Black Lotus and clicked Lurrus when I meant to pay for the Lurrus put into my hand with this, and then pay for actually casting Lurrus with Black Lotus, so Lurrus would be on the battlefield, and I could cast Black Lotus from my graveyard and do some more stuff. But I just like, I don't know if it was a misclick or missequence. I can't really remember where my head was at. This was round 1, but this was, that was certainly a mistake if you guys, catch that. I mean, said they finally hit their Cavern of Souls, but like it's probably too late at this point. Cycle that Lore Revealed so we can start playing these Psychic Frogs. But they do hit their Ancient Tomb and are able to start doing stuff, and it's uncounterable. They see our hand and then concede. That's the beauty of, if this was paper Magic, I would just like kind of show, but the online Magic, they finally see our hand and go, nope, can't beat that, and just conceded. So we take that, and so we finish out round 1 1-0. In round 2, keep this hand. Hand's great. Just like we have a bunch of Mana Accelerants, Gataxian Probe, Vampiric Tutor to grab whatever we need. The turn 1 Urza Saga in order to play our Moxes. Or to be able to immediately activate with the Moxes, excuse me, and the Lorraine Revealed to grab a land. This is essentially everything we asked for, or the Lorraine Revealed to pitch to Force of Will. This tells me almost certainly it's Oops All Spells. which is totally fine. So I play Vampiric Tutor. They go to Ancestral Recall. We forceful that Ancestral Recall. Obviously, we're Vampiric Tutoring for an Ancestral Recall of our own. And I decide to fire off the Ancestral Recall and try to hit a land, which we do, and we can start activating Urza Saga. Now, it's very possible I should have wastelanded that land because we know it's Oops All spells, but I don't know. I wanted to apply pressure. Excuse me. Sneezed. They're able to play their Soul Rings, so that's a little awkward, but we can start getting rid of their lands kind of now. So we get a big old construct, and we draw the Time Vault. And so I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. So I just tap for mana, grab the Manifold Key, and cast the Time Vault, and they just conceded to the Time Vault. And so we won game 1. It was a really fortunate draw that last game. In game 2, we keep these Black Lotus hands. It's a weird Black Lotus hand, unfortunately. Without those extra mana accelerants, you rarely have the turn 1 Lurrus type thing. We're trying to keep them off mana, so I force negation that Mana Crypt, but they had the Black Lotus hand kind of anyway. But they don't have a land, so that's like reasonably solid, but we also have essentially 0 protection right now. They play Goblin Charbelcher, and unfortunately, I don't believe we can answer it. And so I just got to process. We try to draw a Time Vault is really the only way we answer this. And play a Psychic Frog, and then see if they are able to hit the mana. Put Lurrus in our hand, so that way next turn we can cast Lurrus, put Black Lotus back onto the graveyard, or back on the battlefield from the graveyard. And of course they have Dark Ritual and are able to activate Goblin Charbelcher, so I concede. Moving on to game 3, we keep a hand with quite a bit of counter magic, plus a Time Vault. There's not a lot going on besides, like, you know, the strip mine and counter magic and kind of stopping our opponent on what they should do. I brought in the Steel Sabotage after I saw the Goblin Charbelcher. It makes sense that they're expanding on their win conditions post board because I bring in more and more answers. That being said, I try to keep them off mana by Steel Sabotaging the Mox Ruby. It seems to work. They don't really have anything else going on. And so we hit our Lorien Revealed. But we want to keep them off their mana, so I just play the Strip Mine on the land. Keeping them off mana is really the name of the game. We don't really want to go into a counter war because they often play things like Pact of Negation, and it's really hard to win counter wars against decks like that. But we can end step Lorien Revealed, so we can play our Psychic Frog. If we want to, it's a little bit shields down, but with them playing no lands, we want to apply that pressure. They really relied on that Mox Ruby and the land surviving. So the count on the Mox Ruby was just excellent. So we play our Psychic Frog. They counter it. It's fine. We drew a Demonic Tutor. It's all good. So they obviously drew their land. They go to Dark Ritual. We mental missed up the Dark Ritual because no thank you. So we think for just a sec. We have Demonic Tutor. I decided to play the Time Vault, just leave Spell Pierce up. Leave some time for Demonic Tutor. They can't really beat a spell, or they might have some difficulty beating a Spell Pierce. And just like having the Time Vault out first means I can Demonic Tutor for the Manifold Key, and then just leave Spell Pierce up another turn, and then just kind of win. So we're leaving Spell Pierce up this turn. Right, they have essentially nothing. Now we can protect our combo with Spell Pierce as well. And we win. So we are 2-0. In round 3, we play against a pretty known Eternal Grinder, but we keep an Ancestral Recall hand with multiple pieces of counter magic and interaction. Like a Black Lotus, I'm like, no effing thank you. In the Wasteland, we tried to Ancestral Recall, and we're able to, so that feels really, really good. And we stop the Black Lotus, we're able to fire off our Ancestral Recall. We get a couple Lorien Revealed. So Scroll Mox tells me they're on initiative, especially exiling a white thing. But them also having the Cavern of Souls kind of sucks. So we try to hit our land at all. They say Psychic Frog, which hurts pretty bad, and we have no way to turn on our Fatal Push, so that feels kind of double bad. So right now we got nothing going for us besides hitting our land drops. So I decided to do this. We're getting rid of Cavern of Souls so we can actually counter their stuff if we draw a counter spell. Getting rid of the Wasteland also means it turns on Fatal Push, so we got rid of Anointed Peacekeeper. They don't hit their land. They know we have double Psychic Frog in their hand, and they concede. Game 2, we keep fine hand. We're lucky we have Valorian Revealed and Mox Sapphire. They have a Black Lotus start, which feels super, super bad when we're on the draw. They see what's going on. They turn off our Psychic Frogs. And play Archon, so we just have nothing going on. I decided to run out the Mox just so that we're able to just make everything else resolve, because I'm really worried about things resolving long term. They Wasteland our Wasteland, which feels pretty bad. We have this mana. The issue is Lauren Reveal can't grab our Swamp. So it's just a nightmare here, dude. Yeah, it's game's just totally over. Even if I didn't run out the Mox Sapphire into the Chancellor, I don't think there's any world we win this game with that incredible start. And so in game 3, we keep the combo, Manifold Key Time Vault combo, just like in our opener. We can't mulligan that, frankly. I play the Urza Saga, just play the Time Vault and just make them answer it. And yeah, they concede. Sometimes you just win in Vintage. So 3-0 going into round 4. Playing against another pretty well-known grinder. I decided to keep this. Unfortunately, they have they had the revealed Chancellor of the Annex hand. So it took a second to process, which means I couldn't Force of Will the White Plume. And I look at my hand and I know I just can't beat this, so I just concede before I play. Like, it's just over. If they didn't have the Chancellor, or they reveal the Chancellor. If they didn't have the Chancellor, would have Force of Will the White Plume, but it is what it is. Going into game 2, we mulligan once. Because the hand just did nothing. This hand isn't too much better, but the Demonic Tutor sort of helps. The issue is we have no interaction, so if they keep something reasonable, we are not doing great. But they play Archon, which might be the best thing for them to play in the face of us. I'm not sure why I didn't Lorien Revealed at the end of the last turn. Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't do that. But they play Seasoned Engineer. I decide to why didn't I brainstorm in response? Oh, because of Cavern of Souls. There's no way I could have dealt with that. Yeah. Put some stuff back because it's just too late at this point. I figure like maybe I can race with some Urza Saga tokens, but see, the Seasoned Engineer damage just adds up so dramatically fast. There's just simply no way, especially with this additional like hurt and whatnot, and the game's just over. I'm not sure how much longer I played. Oh yeah, I just concede right here. So we are 3-1. So 3-1 going into round 5 of the Vintage Challenge. We keep a decent hand, Drown in the Lock, Time Vault, Learn Revealed. It doesn't really do too much. Unfortunately, that turn 1 Vexing Bauble means that we can't play the Mox Jet, and also the drawn Black Lotus, which originally would be just ridiculous, we can't play. So that's really, really brutal. What's nice is this Drown in the Lock can deal with the Tamio, so we don't have to worry about that. So just go ahead and do that instead of Wastelanding. And this Vexing Bauble is doing some work. Vexing Bauble on the play in Vintage is just nutter butters. I Demonic Tutor for an Ancestral Recall to fill up their hand. I decided to Wasteland their Black Source and then Time Vault. They immediately punish me with an Urza Saga into Time Walk, which feels horrible. And they get rid of my stuff. Again, this Vexing Bauble is just absolutely disgusting, and they're going to start building up a board here. The game's not over, but it's hurting right now. They're able to Urza Saga our thing, so we aren't able to make blockers. We hit our Time Walk. Really, we're just time walking to see what's going on. They draw a card with Vexing Bauble, which means we can start actually doing stuff. So that's really exciting. So we play our Mox Jet and Black Lotus. I go to Treasure Cruise. So now we are totally back in business, hit Ancestral Recall. We are doing our best to totally refill our hand. I decide to let them Mental Misstep the Ancestral Recall. Why did I do that? Why did I decide to... I'm just trying to analyze. Remember, part of this is analyzing like how to... have play. I don't know why I didn't Force of Will the Mental Misstep. I think that was a punt, to be totally honest with you. Because really we're really far behind. We just needed to find the key. Maybe I thought the Vexing Bubble was still out. Yeah, that was definitely a punt. I mean, I think we likely still lose that game, but that was almost certainly a punt. So we're down a game. See where we're at. Spreading Seas is amazing against Urza Saga decks, by the way. You could draw a card and essentially wasteland them. I decided to Spell Pierce the Mox Jet. You know, hitting mana is really important. Of course, they have a Black Lotus hand. And I'm not feeling great right now because we don't have colors, but we can kind of get rid of their colors. So that feels a little good, I guess. And they have a Black Lotus, but they aren't doing anything with the Black Lotus yet. But we hit our Lorien Revealed. So you just go Urza Saga. We're able to grab our Lorien Revealed and hopefully get something going. Assuming our Urza Saga doesn't go away. Of course Urza Saga goes away, though. So we grabbed this and we're able to leave Spell Pierce up this next turn, which doesn't do a lot against Black Lotus hands. I just said we play the Polluted Delta, so it couldn't be wastelanded. Playing the second Polluted Delta, we're just chilling right now. What's kind of cool is we can actually dig through time now. They put their Lurrus in their hand, and we're going to be looking to dig through time here. It's possible we should have waited on the dig through time so we could protect it with Spell Pierce, because answering a dig through time with a Spell Pierce just feels real bad. But I begin attacking their land now that they got rid of their Black Lotus, and that actually matters. We're Spell Piercing Brainstorm, like even like that much. So, and they don't play a second land, so we're feeling really, really, really good now. To go Urza Saga, and I decide to Demotic Tutor. They Force of Will that Demotic Tutor, so now they're on Lurrus. Unknown. They play a Tamio. Of course, you'd immediately draw Mental Misstep, so that feels really bad. And I decided to not Spreading Seas because there's not really any 1-mana black cards we're super worried about. I know I'd much rather activate Urza Saga as this exists. The clue tokens don't do anything if they are unable to hit their cards, which is kind of sweet. So I countered the Zensei's Dividing Top, and they just conceded, assuming they're just going to die to Urza Saga. In game 3, we keep an Ancestral Recall Force Will hand, which cannot throw back. That feels good. That feels good, dude. I decided Taxium Probe to kind of see what's going on. They also keep an Ancestral Recall hand and have a bunch of other lands. I just decided to grab our island. On their upkeep, I use it just so I can keep all the cards. They Tamio'd, we Force of Willed the Tamio. We're just trying to get rid of all their stuff. Basically fighting the mana battle, which is really the early turns. These early turns are definitely here. Here, I think my opponent made a mistake. I don't know if you saw that. I'm pausing it right now. So I Force of Will their Ancestral Recall so they can keep them low on cards, and they Spell Pierce my Force of Will, and I just like paid with Soul Ring, and then then my Force of Will resolved. I'm not sure where that was. Maybe they noticed my horrible punt in game 1, and then it kind of didn't work. So rather than casting the Lurrus Revealed, I did it for land. That might have been a mistake as well. I'm not 100% sure. In any case, we get to play the Psychic Frog and to start activating Urza Saga. They Force of Will our Psychic Frog. We're totally okay with them, using 2 cards to our 1 card when I think we're a little bit ahead on material, you know, as this exists. A Brainstorm, which is pretty good alongside Sensei's Divining Top, being able to kind of rearrange. Obviously, just doing the classic Urza Saga play. I decided to grab Black Lotus. We're attacking first. Putting Lurrus in our hand, using Black Lotus to cast Lurrus. And of course, they have another Force of Will, so that didn't quite work. But we got that Force of Will out of their hand. We got actually an extra Force of Will. Looks like they exiled the Force of Will too. You know, so we're just like making sure we're up on material continuously. They're spending 2 cards to answer a card we're casting. That means the constructs are attacking. They put Lurrus into their hand. I go for Vampiric Tutor into a Time Walk, which essentially just means we win if they are unable to answer it. And we win the match. So we are 4-1. So going into round 6 at 4-1, this is our winning in match. It's possible we're still in even with a loss, but it's not entirely guaranteed, so we have to play it out against somebody who is certainly out with a loss. So it's one of those like semi feel bad where I want to concede, but we just can't. Keep a Black Lotus hand, you know, there's a Saga Wasteland, stuff like that. I decided to play the Wasteland first in case they have a Wasteland start as well. We can just lure and reveal for some color, hit a Black Lotus, you know, all that stuff. Go Preordain. I believe this is Doomsday, if I remember correctly. Yep, so we just grab our color, like I said. Playing our Black Lotus. I want to hit that Psychic Frog. And we're putting Lurrus in our hand. There's a possibility we were supposed to Time Walk there just so we can hit them with Psychic Frog, but actually, we almost certainly should have just Time Walked there so we could just draw a extra card off Psychic Frog, because as it stands, we actually can't cast the Lurrus to get the Black Lotus back. I was thinking like, oh, we just like put the Lurrus in our hand so we can cast it, but we literally can't. So meh. I don't know why I let all this resolve. I think it was just to like be able to you know, let them just go ahead and cast the Doomsday and then I counter it, but it's just over. After the Doomsday does its thing, I give them a chance to make a mistake on the Doomsday, but they certainly do not. It's just wide open, totally free. Cast a Thassa's Oracle and we lose. So we are down a game in our pseudo winning in match. We keep a turn 1 Psychic Frog hand with Force of Will backup. Or Force of Negation backup, strictly worse. But we love that, just being able to draw a bunch of cards, kind of stop what they plan on doing. I decided to protect my Psychic Frog with Force of Negation, which might have been incorrect, especially since they had the days as well. I almost X 6 through my turn there, which was not the best experience of my life. But we just play our Psychic Frog and just like, well, at this point, I'm kind of resigning. Like in my head, I'm like, well, like I hope I'm still in. Like, I guess it's okay if I lose this match. Like, I'm gonna Bubble Boy. Like, oh man. But they don't have the Dark Ritual. They don't like go off. We have the Steel Sabotage, which is only in our deck because I really didn't know, like there were a bunch of cards in our main deck that was just awful that I needed to take out, and Steel Sabotage does something, like gets rid of Moxes or like a Black Lotus after they're already comboing. Just straight drawing cards. Of course, now it's slowing down. It's so funny. Silly replay. And we don't Orcus Bowmasters. So okay, so we have fuel back. I'm not sure where the Steel Sabotage is going to come into play. We're hoping it'll do something. and they don't go off again. So just Orcish Bowmaster, we're just trying to apply pressure. We're trying to draw cards. We're just doing our thing. Like, you know, let's do it. And we hit Drown in the Lock, which is just a great counter magic as well. So if you get through one and a half ish pieces of counter magic, and right at this point, I'm just hoping that I kill in time to, you know, they don't find two pieces of counter magic or whatever. So I try to interrupt this with Drown in the Lock, and they Flusterstorm back. So now I'm like, well, I hope the Steel Sabotage does something. So I let them Doomsday pile, and you know, we'll see what happens here. It's kind of interesting too, is they can't actually draw all 5 cards because Orcish Bowmaster will kill them because Doomsday is going to have to life total. So they gush. We get 2 Orcish Bowmaster triggers. So they go to 3, and then go to Black Lotus, and the Steel Sabotage comes into play. I can't believe Steel Sabotage wins me the game here. To be fair, it's alongside Orcish Bowmaster, but still, it's awesome. I actually had a chat with him on Twitter after the spoiler. I win the match. And they, oh my god, it was just so silly that Steel Sabotage is a good guy. Good guy. Anyway, going to game 3. So we have the glorious Steel Sabotage in our hand again. I don't think it is actually that much better. We have the turn 2 Psychic Frog with Force of Negation. Like, just, or whatever, man. Seems decent. Duress Resolves is a pretty non-duressable hand, frankly. Because what happened to my camera? There we go. Because I you know, want more land, we just go ahead and Lurrus Revealed. Drawing the Mental Misstep feels great. We get to start applying pressure with Psychic Frog now. He just goes for the Doomsday. So I just go Force of Negation. They Force of Will back. I'm like, okay, like, here we go. Hope Mental Misstep does something because we can't even cast Steel Sabotage now. They're going for the Doomsday like this, and this is an early Doomsday, but they're 8. And so I'm in like a little bit of a weird spot here now. Because I could just discard all but 1 card in my hand and attack and put them on a 2-turn clock, or just leave this counter magic up and hope I can, you know, do something with it. I decided to just leave the counter magic up and hope to do something with it. It might have been a mistake. Maybe I should have just gotten rid of everything but Mental Misstep. I'm not 100% sure in hindsight now that I look at this. I think it was just like, I really need to draw cards off of this. We draw a Force of Will, and that just like seals the deal. Mental Misstep, Force of Will, being able to exile, you know, Lurrus Revealed, and Steel Sabotage is just all just totally disgusting. You know, we're able to Force of Will this, exile on the Lurrus Revealed. And now they have 0 cards in hand, 4 cards in their deck, and we hit a Vampiric Tutor. I decided to put Lurrus right in my hand. Discard, you know, these cards. I'm not sure I was supposed to put Lurrus in my hand. It's possible I was supposed to have Vampiric Tutor for like a Spell Pierce or something. It's very possible. That might have been a mistake as well. But in any case, we won, and we are in the top 8. First round top 8, we're playing against one of the better players on Magic Online, frankly. And I believe this is Samir. Yeah, Samir. We have a mock start, which feels reasonably good. They go turn 1 Manifold Key. No point in forcing it. I'd rather force the second piece than the first piece. They force a negation our box, which feels pretty bad. I just go ahead and let them take up the Urza Saga. We force their mocks because lol. And they're brainstorming in response to this Lurrus revealed. So I have a really awkward hand at this point. Drawing the Soul Ring feels better, but I decided I want to leave. I would rather get rid of their Urza Saga so they aren't able to like actually use it, and leave the Spell Pierce up. They go to Wasteland our land, and it seems like I'd just go ahead and Vampiric Tutor. I decided to play Urza Saga, or grab Urza Saga off of Vampiric Tutor because we had the Soul Ring in our hand, and just try to like raw dog it. You know, we're just going for it. The cards on my hand don't matter. Let's try to make homies. The issue with that plan is they draw their own Soul Ring and they have their own Urza Saga at this point, which feels really, really bad. So, but we play Manifold Key, untap Soul Ring. We're able to make a construct off of this, which feels kind of good. You know, we also have options off of this Urza Saga. Unfortunately, they're also going to be, you know, playing Lurrus and doing silly Mishra's Bauble Lurrus stuff, which we neglected to include in our deck. So it is what it is there. And we're just making constructs. I would say like I'm on the downside of this one. I decided to Pithy Needle my opponent's Urza Saga. I'm really not sure what that'll do. I'm feeling a little defeated here, especially since it's too bad the Pithy Needle doesn't get rid of the, you know, grabbing something. I grab Soul Guide Lantern. They're just casting multiple spells a turn, which feels rough. Making Lurrus unblockable and jamming. I decided there's no point in really trading with the construct. I think cast a Psychic Frog, and I feel the game slipping away at this point. They're drawing just like a million cards a turn and whatnot. It's jammed, kind of try to race. The game's just over, so I just concede. So we're down a game in top 8. So we mulligan into this kind of interesting hand. We have this turn 1 Orcish Bowmasters, you know, having access to the Soul Rings. So this is kind of an interesting like thing that's going on. We can still sabotage any moxes that they play. They decide to play none, so I just end step Orcish Bowmasters, which is just excellent. I don't know why my camera keeps turning off. I apologize for that. We even hit the Urza Saga. I'm feeling great. Put the Lurrus in our hand, leave Steel Sabotage up. There's no point in playing the Time Vault now. No need. You know, Psychic Frog. It feels a little bad, but Orcish Bowmasters is fine against Psychic Frog. I decided to play this Time Vault because it makes the constructs bigger and it's a bit of an opening for a Time Vault. It's totally okay that they countered it. Totes okay. Plus, especially since we have this Lurrus in our hand, if we really, really, really wanted to do that, I've decided to protect the Time Vault in their graveyard with Steel Sabotage on their Soul Guide Lantern. We're making big constructs, and now we're just going to start jamming as hard as we can. I grabbed this Manifold Key with the intention of casting Lurrus and bringing back the Time Vault. We're really just 1 mana away from being able to do that. But even if we're unable to do that, our board is insane. So in order for our opponent to win, they have to answer the board and the Lurrus bring back Time Vault Manifold Key combo. And that's just really, 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 really hard for them to do. And I think they're just trying to seek an answer. I'm not sure what they have in their deck for that, but they just concede to the big board and the threat of the infinite turns. Going into game 3 in top 8, you know, and most mental misstep hands are pretty decent. We're able to stop their Urza Saga Soul Ring start, which would have been rough. We play our Wasteland, get rid of their Urza Saga, decide to take my time with this hand, which is totally okay. Unfortunately, they play Strip Mine. So our Urza Saga is in a little bit of danger, but we have to play it in order to get our blue/black source in Lorien revealed. So it is what it is there. They draw a card immediately off a Soul Guide Lantern, which is totally a sign of weakness. I think they actually drew that Mox Sapphire. So that I'm feeling really good at this point. And then we hit Underground Sea and Spreading Seas. So I Spreading Seas their strip mine just to like try to stop killing my lands. Unfortunately, they are unable to, or they spell pierced it, so they're able to get rid of my Urza Saga. But oh, that would have been so sweet. That would have been so sweet. I got nothing going on, so I just cast a Time Vault. It's possible I should have Vampiric Tutored for like an Ancestral Recall on end step or something like that, or left Spell Pierce up. I don't know. That you could probably chalk that up to a mistake. I hit Time Walk, decide to take the extra turn with Time Walk. Because if I do, Urza Saga pops. We just grab Manifold Key with Urza Saga and take infinite turns with Time Vault, which is just kind of silly. Like, I was so wildly far behind in this game, and I put my opponent in a situation where they tapped out and needed 0 mana counter magic in order to beat me. You know, doing the, me playing the Time Vault and taking the extra turn with Time Walk in order to pop the Urza Saga. So we're on to top 4. That's where the wheels come off. Keep a reasonable hand. You know, we have Vampiric Tutor, Time Walk, Vexing Bauble's decent. I decided not to play the Vexing Bauble because of I had Mental Misstep in my hand. This is a horrible, horrible, horrible mistake. If you're on the play, you just always play Vexing Bauble because you don't know if they're going to Mox. Like, you can turn off a lot of their hand, which just feels so bad. They Orcish Bowmaster after I Vampiric Tutor, and I obviously Vampiric Tutor for an Ancestral Recall, so I'm in hell, dude. Like, this is not good. All sorts of not good. Like, woo, I cashed in on the Mental Misstep. Who cares? I got wildly outplayed in the first turn of this game. I'm like, well, we learned something about Vexing Bauble, but man, that feels bad. I have to fire off the Ancestral Recall, and this is just going to give them so much fuel. Just such an insane amount of fuel to be able to beat us. I'm not sure why I didn't drown in the lock. Oh, there we go. Okay, I am. See, why am I not drowning in the lock in this Orcish Bowmaster? What's going on? I do it before the trigger. You know, it is what it is here. I still decide to not play Vexing Bauble just for no reason. I guess I have Force Negation on my hand. That's the reason not to. But the game has fallen very quickly away from us. I think I'm just aggressively firing off that Force Negation, so I have an excuse to play Vexing Bauble. But I don't know. I got so wildly outplayed in the first turn, and I think I might concede to that. I don't know, I'm just trying to draw cards, I think. Draw cards, Time Walk, draw cards. And we just have nothing. Like, woo. Definitely shouldn't have... Oh, yeah. There's no way I can do it. Yep. So we are down a game in top 4. Then we go into our second game in top 4. Keep in a reasonable hand. You know, we were Drown in the Lock, Spell Pierce, Steel Sabotage. You know, I like this hand. This hand's pretty decent. No point in Time Walking now. It doesn't really do anything. It's just 2 mana draw card, essentially. It's just an Explorer. 2 mana draw card, put a land on the battlefield. Be able to answer the Psychic Frog with Drown in the Lock. I'm feeling okay. We got Wasteland Strip Mine. It's also very possible I should have just played the Wasteland last turn. I decided I wanted to Time Walk to play the Strip Mine to just like get really, really far ahead in mana. But they Force Willed our Time Walk, so it is what it is there. I go to Strip Mine, they're able to Lorien Revealed. So we're unable to get them choked on mana at all, and we don't have a lot going on. We have some pretty selective counter magic in our hand, and that's pretty much it. I think a Black Lotus, like I can Steel Sabotage the Black Lotus, but I'm unconvinced that's actually doing much at all. Just make sure I keep hitting my land drops. And we draw a land after we cycle that Lorien Revealed, so it just feels so bad. And this is a huge sign of weakness. Just third land, put Lurrus in our hand, pass. Like, it's icky, especially since I have nothing to bring back with Lurrus because I'm not playing like the Mishra's Bauble version or anything. And I at this point I know I'm in trouble. just play Lurrus. We have Spell Pierce to kind of halfway protect Lurrus, but Lurrus isn't bringing anything back. And Lurrus is wicked overcosted if it's not doing anything. Decided to force a Will the Orcish Bowmaster just so we didn't have to deal with it. They go to attack. I decided to block the Orcish Bowmaster, and they follow up with a Fatal Push. But at least the Orcish Bowmaster is gone. At this point, I'm playing the Psychic Frog. I'm like, okay, if they like have nothing for a turn or two, like we're doing okay. And they play Mox, put Lurrus in their hand. I'm like, okay, this is like, might be fine. Like, this is okay. So we're drawing cards. We hit this Urza Saga. We have the Psychic Frog. Like, okay, things are going okay. Let's do this. However, they're able to Lurrus. And then they have, remember, I Steel Sabotage the Black Lotus. They have Black Lotus in their graveyard. And then they're able to kind of pop off here, which feels just so bad. Able to Treasure Cruise. I'm like, oh man, if that Black Lotus wasn't in their graveyard, it'd be fine. But they're even able to use the extra mana to Spreading Seas or Urza Saga, which kills it. It was just disgusting. That being said, I'm seeking new stuff. I decided to keep the Steel Sabotage because I don't need the mana. But we've returned to being in sort of trouble, but we need to draw some reasonable Magic the Gathering cards here. I think I probably should have pitched this Steel Sabotage just because there's no artifacts that I'm like hyper worried about. Besides maybe the Time Vault combo, but meh. I think it's more important to like be able to do some damage, you know. But we have the Orcish Bowmaster, so that feels kind of good. It gives us a possibility of answering Lurrus. I decided to see what's going on with Gataxian Probe, and we even hit the Mental Misstep. So, you know, things are okay. I see they have Time Vault, and they hit Ancestral Recall. We're able to Orcish Bowmasters, but they had the Force of Will, so it's go to Mental Misstep, and of course they have the Flusterstorm, which we knew about, right? We knew about all these things. We just have to still do it, you know? So that's really brutal, that they were able to answer our Mental Misstep and our Orcish Bowmasters. But the game's not over. They just have infinite mana, essentially. I decided to kind of choke their mana just a tiny bit by Steel Sabotaging the Black Lotus cast from the graveyard, but it's not good. Like, I don't feel good about this. Orcish Bowmaster, so I don't have to exile cards from my graveyard to hit with Psychic Frog. We had essentially hit a Force of Will. I decided to let the Black Lotus through, getting rid of this Time Vault, even though it doesn't really do anything because of the stupid Lurrus. I feel kind of okay, though, because they have 2 cards in their hand. We're able to draw multiple cards a turn. You know, we have the Orcish Bowmaster, feels kind of okay. We have Spreading Seas, Vampiric Tutor. I'm looking to draw more cards. I decide to, in response to the Spreading Seas, trigger Vampiric Tutor Fatal Push on the top of my deck so I can answer the Homeboy, our Homeboy Lurrus. And things are kind of okay. Like, we're attacking with Psychic Frog. Turn them flying. You know, unfortunately, they kill one of our Psychic Frogs, so it isn't as good anymore. But we draw another Psychic Frog. Like, okay, let's do this. This feels sort of okay. Unfortunately, you know, the Soul Guide Lantern means that I won't be able to exile any more cards from my graveyard. You know, as we do this, and they're able to start making the constructs unblockable, and all of a sudden I find myself unable to deal enough damage in order to not die in the back crack. I decided to jam out with everything and just to be able to get through with one of the Psychic Frogs, and I die. In hindsight, I might have been able to win this game if I just attacked with the 2 Psychic Frogs to let them block with one construct. I knew my out was a Fatal Push, which I drew anyway, and I'm able to block one and then Fatal Push the one they make unblockable. But it's tough. You know, Magic's hard. Magic's really, really hard. But that was my top 4 with Blue-Black Lurrus in Vintage. If you like these tournament recap videos, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.